So, OpenAI. You hear about them everywhere, right? They're at the absolute center of the AI revolution. But behind all that incredible, groundbreaking tech, there is a financial story that is, well, it's pretty wild. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so here's the big puzzle we really need to unpack. How on earth can a company with a revenue that's just skyrocketing, I mean, growing like crazy, also be losing money hand over fist? We're talking about losses on a scale that's just hard to wrap your head around. It's a question that really gets to the core of this whole AI gold rush.
All right, let's just start with a number, a huge number. This one number kind of frames this entire story. Ready? $115 billion. According to some reports citing internal documents, that's what OpenAI is projected to burn through by 2029. And no, that is not a typo. That's a real forecast. $115 billion, just to keep the lights on. In this right here, this visualizes the whole paradox perfectly. Take a look. On one side, you've got their revenue. They're on track to make over $20 billion a year. That's massive. But then, look at the other side. They're on track to lose around $15.6 billion. It's just wild. They're making a ton of money, but they're spending even more. And here's the really crazy part. This isn't just a steady problem. It's actually getting worse fast. I mean, these projections show the cash burn is growing exponentially. Just look at these numbers. Over $8 billion in 2025, then it jumps to $17 billion, then it doubles to $35 billion just a year later. You know, this isn't a leak in the boat, it's a full-on tidal wave. So the big question is, what in the world is costing so much money? Well, it really comes down to one main thing, the single biggest expense that's just swallowing all that cash. It's something called compute. Think of it as the fuel for this entire AI engine. And let me tell you, it is an astronomically expensive kind of fuel. So what exactly is compute cost? Well, simply put, it's all the stuff you need to make AI actually work at this massive scale. It's the raw, brute force processing power you need to first train these models on just unimaginable amounts of data, and then to run them for millions and millions of people. I like to think of it as the electricity bill for a giant digital brain, and this brain is getting bigger and hungrier every single day. So let's break that down a bit. Compute isn't just one thing, right? It starts with huge fleets of GPUs. Those are the special chips that are perfect for the kind of math AI needs to do. Then you need the specialized super fast memory, HBM, to feed data to those hungry chips. All of that has to live somewhere, so you need these massive climate-controlled data centers. And then, of course, you have to power the whole shebang, which takes an absolutely enormous amount of electricity. This quote really just nails it. It sums up the whole problem perfectly. Two things can be true at the same time. Your revenue can be growing incredibly fast, but your costs, especially for compute, can be growing even faster. It's like we're watching this high-speed chase in real time, and right now, the expenses are definitely winning. But okay, it actually gets even more complicated. The problem isn't just that compute is super expensive. The entire global supply chain to build all this AI infrastructure, it's hitting a wall. We're talking about a massive, massive bottleneck. Honestly, the best way to picture this is like a giant traffic jam, but for the entire AI industry. The demand to get on the AI highway is just surging, right? But all the RAMs and the lanes themselves, the AI factory, are getting completely clogged up. And you can't just build more lanes overnight. So what happens? Everything slows down, and the price to get anywhere just goes through the roof. You can really see how this all cascades, one thing after another. First, you have this unbelievable demand for AI. That leads straight to a shortage of the really important stuff, like the most advanced chips. Then that problem gets even worse because of delays in building the actual infrastructure, the data centers and the power grids. And what's the end result of all that? The costs for absolutely everything just skyrocket. And we're not talking about abstract ideas here. These are very real, specific choke points in the system. For instance, NVIDIA's own CEO has pointed to a bottleneck in something called advanced packaging. You can think of that as the super complex final step of putting an AI chip together. Then there's the high bandwidth memory we talked about. It's in such high demand for AI that it's actually causing shortages for other electronics. And on top of all that, the power grid operators themselves are reporting huge delays in hooking up new data centers because they're waiting on basic stuff like transformers. So why should you even care about any of this? Well, it actually can affect you directly.
All this crazy demand for parts like high bandwidth memory for AI servers means there's less to go around for everybody else. And according to some reports, that squeeze can ripple all the way down to the price you pay for your next phone, your next laptop, or your gaming console. Pretty much anything with a fancy chip inside could get more expensive because of this. Okay, so you're facing runaway costs and a supply chain that's in total chaos. What's the plan? How does a company like OpenAI even begin to navigate this kind of financial storm? Well, the strategy they're reportedly taking is a really high-stakes two-pronged attack. It's actually a pretty classic business move. You have to attack the problem from both ends. So on one side, you've got to find ways to lower your costs. That means making every AI query cheaper and more efficient, and just getting smarter about your infrastructure. Then, on the other side, you have to aggressively boost your revenue. That means finding products that make you more money and discovering new ways to monetize all this amazing tech. And they're looking at a bunch of different ways to get that revenue up. They're shifting focus to big business clients who can pay top dollar, they're selling access to developers through APIs, and they're pushing subscriptions for all the premium features. And here's a big one. Reports are saying they're even testing out putting ads inside ChatGPT. That could open up a gigantic new stream of income for them. Now, to pull off a strategy this ambitious and this expensive, you need a massive war chest. And boy, does OpenAI have one. A reported funding round led by SoftBank has given them up to $40 billion to play with. That is the kind of cash that gives you the runway, the time to try and make this whole thing work before the money furnace just burns out of control. And that really brings us to the final huge question here. We are literally watching a company spend money at a rate we've never really seen before, all to build a technology that could totally reshape our world. So is this just what it costs? Is this the eye-watering necessary price you have to pay to build something as world-changing as artificial general intelligence? Or are we just watching the single biggest and riskiest financial gamble in the history of tech? Honestly, nobody knows for sure. So there you have it. What do you think? Is all this spending a necessary investment for the future, or is it just a historic gamble? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you want to dig into all the numbers and reports for yourself, we've got all our sources linked down below. Thanks for tuning in.